The puppy had to learn. What is taken away will be returned. The bone in his mouth retrieved by mother's hand. But having mistaken thumb for bone, his tooth cut through like butter, blood on the bone on his tongue. And sister running for bandages, and mother at the sink running water, blood and water mixing. Father getting the gun, brother at the door, sister down the hall, mother at the sink, dog with his bone. Gun at the dog's skull as he chewed the marrow, licked the blood, safety off. Brothers, no. Blood and water, bullet in the chamber, no. Gun cocked and ready at no. Gun lifting from dog's skull to brother's heart. Mother at the sink, sister there with bandages, father with the gun, brother with the no. Gun, blood, water, no. Well, that was a happy start. I think I chose that. That's what is next door in Indiana. There's election today for primaries. So I decided to choose all these controversial poems just for that. Things that reminded me of stupid things like guns. I think there's one later that has a reference to Indiana in it. And it's springtime. I am pretty sure. I don't remember where it was, and Emily Rose was reading, and she said if we just say it is spring enough times that it would be spring, and I feel like it is. It's actually today and yesterday. It was just so beautiful. So I've been happy, and then I just read a really sad poem, so I'm going to read a happier poem. Happier as in as happy as my poems get. Why the Garcias never attended the circus after 1942. And I apologize, I just used air quotes. And that's like foreboding, so I'm sorry. Forget that I did that. Here's the poem. Great Aunt Esperanza, tired of the South Texas sun and her job at her father's dusty grocery, the feel of tomatoes she piled in pyramids, and the dumb numbers on the register. All the boring Catholic boys wanted to fix engines and make babies, not the ruckus that ran in her veins. She snuck away with the carny one May, came back 10 autumns later with tattoos of cherry petals on her cheeks, stories of trapeze artists who swung her glittering heart. She scrubbed elephant hides with long brushes before the parades through small Midwestern towns. Her hair spangled with confetti of water from the clowns' pails. Brushing cobwebs off her old bed frame, she stuffed her mattress with sawdust and popcorn, tried to have dreams of girls in pink on milk-white horses, drunk only icy lemonade. That was happier. Come back with tattoos on your face, and I don't know how comfortable it would be to sleep on a mattress full of popcorn, but it would smell really good. If you didn't put butter on it, you probably wouldn't get fleas for a long time. It wouldn't go rancid right away. You probably want to redo it after a few weeks. It's a lot of popcorn. It's true. On the day she becomes a bee, it's bee season! Have you seen your first bee yet? That is a sign it is spring. The bees are back, people. On the day she becomes a bee, the Victrola sings out of its horn soprano, piano, and brass, filling the room like a jelly roll with sweetness and sway. She spends the morning concocting in the yellow kitchen. Bubbling jams and seed-dappled glazes steam above blue flames in copper saucepans. She bumbles down hallways, walls combed with frames, oil paintings of fat infants and sleek saplings supposed to infuse her with youth. The mice skedaddle and stagger drunken on dairy to the bedroom's four-poster bed to giggle and twitter as her feet slip past the bedpost. It's not as if she's never curbed a taste for sweets. turn knobs on doors salty with memories. The stones she throws into a glassy pond ripple remind her of tables covered in glassware, her mother's white whipped potatoes, bowls of globby turnips, dry pork loins left cold on platters. She licks her fingers, sticky with honey, and crushes the walnuts for baklava. The window frames a meadow of milkweed, butterflies. Tonight it will flicker firefly. It's almost Mother's Day. Don't forget, call your mother. If you are a mother, I hope your children behave. That was always my mother's one request on Mother's Day, is that my sister and I not scream and yell and beat the crap out of each other. She never got what she wanted. This is a poem I wrote for my mother. Her knack for flicking matches. You buy so much kerosene, I smell it in your hair spread like anemone over the cotton sheets. In the evening light, I love watching you sip Molotov cocktails and cook vindaloo, the fat in the pan sputtering. Our kisses almost kill me, electric chair thrill. Your best dressed is covered in blood, shimmering red and slick against your lean leg. I should stop here and tell you, I did write this poem for my mother. I am not writing about making love to my mother. Your best dress is covered in blood, shimmering red and slick against your lean leg. I'm almost afraid. I'm almost to the point of kissing my crucifix. Your laugh is like the end of a cigarette, raw, deep. I'm almost always being careful, my steps quiet and a little shaky. I wonder why you almost never remove your ruby earrings, why you look directly at the sun, why no one meets your gaze. I'm almost ready to save my own pieces of pie. I'm almost ready to add emergency contacts who are strangers. Your words are spread before you like piano keys. Pianos are made of wood. I used to think my heart was too. I'm almost about to make one last swipe across the counter. I'm about to take one last breath. I'm about to. I pocket your matches. I'm the bridge. And that was weird, because probably, isn't that a rule that you're not supposed to stop in the middle of your poem and explain to the audience that it's really not like it's for your mother, but it's, you know. It's the end of the semester. Semesters at JJC. Yay! Semesters at JJC are 17 weeks long. 17 weeks is a long fucking time. Sometimes it's longer than it should be. So this is where I'm coming from, people. I have been dealing with things like bad arguments, plagiarists, shitty attitudes. I don't know what else you could add to the list. I have some wonderful students this semester, but some of them, oh my God, they're making me stop in the middle of my poems to explain that it's not really. Little Witch. She can control the wind if she stands on the porch or cement steps leading to a house's back door, holding her arms aloft, squinting her eyes. Mostly, she likes the air to be still, barely rustling. Empty notebooks have demons, so she chooses spiral bound. Blue covers, pages filled with scribbles in red crayon, and the hard-pressed handwriting of girls learning penmanship. There are spells that send small poltergeists scrambling. She curses her siblings with their dirt-filled ears, saliva-crusted mouths. She blesses her father, who leaves more often than he returns, and scolds her mother when her belly swells again. She can see her future, her hair turning to Twizzlers everyone will want to pull from her head, and her words precious as trinkets, hidden in a box of broken bits of jewelry, a beetle's leg, one tiny doll shoe, a blue marble. People still want to look into her mouth. She already plans to hide in a corn crib and live like a cat. Listen, She's practicing her purr. That's a happy song. Hey, here's the poem that references Indiana. Yeah, don't get excited. It's just Trump over there. So, who's your... Oh my God. Did I have half my beer? I didn't even have half my beer. This is called Caring for a Hoosier. Hoosier is in Indiana. And it's also an old cupboard that people used to have in their kitchens that held all their cookware and baking supplies. Caring for a Hoosier. Remember, it was once rooming house for spices and flour, dishes, pie pans, string. Think of it like Chicago or Milwaukee's immigrant neighborhoods, where everyone spoke their native tongue. The flour nestled in with baking powder or soda. The measuring spoons and cups shared a drawer. One shelf was all spices, whispering their secrets through zinc tops. Like all cities, things break. The handle for the sugar bin was lost. The regular leg gave in to termites or water damage. Everyone moved away, and now the cups live in cupboards, the brown sugar in a vacuum-sealed canister in a place called the pantry. There is always room for renewal. Take the Hoosier home to the backyard and strip it, stain it, mend its legs and drawers. Wait years searching for the right handle, the missing jars. Meet a blacksmith who can fix the sifter. Buy a crumbling cookbook, look up recipes for biscuits. Set jars of homemade jam on the shelf. Listen for the languages that were just waiting, never silent, never gone. Is this the point at which I ask if I have two more because I didn't check my phone before I came up and I don't wear a watch?
Yeah, man. I have no idea.
I'm fine. All right. I'm fine. I am fine. Woohoo! Me. I've also been. What?
Have a drink.
Have a drink?
Did you
Another
still have the drink?
No, I had a third of my drink. It's sitting there.
You have a lower tolerance than me, and you're the only person who does.
I don't know that this isn't how. Okay, this might have been how I was all day. I had a colleague bitch me out for being too happy. So it could be that it's actually not the alcohol and that I have a microphone in front of me and lights and people are laughing and that feeds my ego.
And your colleague is
So I told her to shut up and go outside. Please get happy, lady. So I started 2 years ago. Well, it was longer than that. I got my MFA in the University of Southern Maine, which is in Portland, Maine. And I spent a lot of time flying back to go to classes there, and I would fly into Boston. I had friends in Boston, so I started spending a lot of time in New England. And I go back there to visit people. So I got all into like whaling and stuff, and I went to New Bedford and I read books about whaling and stuff, and I was like, this is really cool. So my next book is set in the whaling industry with a woman and a man that fall in love and stuff, because that's what you do. And these are two poems that are kind of along those lines. I think I've been writing poems about women who are married to sailors for a while now. This is called Malady. The doctor takes a sextant measurement of the woman's mind and finds its horizon slanted and slipping eastward. Her blood cells under magnification read like a sheet of tidal forecasts, rounded and wanting to list into moorings. White cells gently knock into mollusks, sound like bass drum and timpani tingle. The leeches on her back don't latch. The hot glasses upside down suction leaves them listless, sluggish. She is a sea without current. A nurse places her contusions under microscope, spies oxidation under translucent skin. She prods them with steel pincers, snickers at the woman's wince. The woman knew her malady was weaving into layers of seaweed covering her corneas and hazing her words with salt and barnacles while she lost her appetite to tide. She would swallow the stars for a cure and feel the blood bleached, white, waterlogged. So one more along those lines, and then I'll read a happy poem to end, because it's happy day, people. Thank you for having me, Sarah. Thank you. Thank you, Quencher. Thank you for the coupon so I could have a beer, which I will finish. I do have books if you're interested at all in reading more of these. The whaler's wife bakes bread. The cupboard is full of flour and self-loathing, so she lights the oven for loaves of bread. The yeast is still living, frothing full and bubbly in the bowl. She substitutes anger for eggs and measures teaspoons of disgust to preserve the bread. She kneads and kneads the dough smooth and pliant, like bruised skin or lungs still breathing. She sets it on the stove to rise, makes a cup of bitter tea, takes a chair to the window to watch rain in sheets on the bottle glass, little else beyond but brown grass and thin chickens, roiling sea. She slips into sleep, mouth agape, dreams of him in the lantern-lit dark, carving whalebone into the shape of a skull when the blade slips and his body becomes carp, flopping. When she wakes, the dough has not doubled. Still she forms loaves, tucks them in buttered pans, abandons them to bake. She tries to sing old hymns from her mother's memories, but can't recall choruses. The house takes on the smell of sour corners, burnt rooftops. She dusts the mantle, the cross made of seashells, the painting of her mother, stern and thin-lipped, but she remembers her soft hands. Even if the bread turns hard and ungiving under the knife, she will eat it. She will think of her love, the bread she will bake for him. All right, last poem. If you've ever, oh, thank you. When I was starting to write really seriously, I was at a Barnes & Noble. I was like, oh, I wonder where my book of poems would be if it was here at Barnes & Noble. I got all excited. It's like between something and Longfellow, and it's always old dead white people there at Barnes & Noble. But I had just discovered Billy Collins, and you know, when you're a newbie poet and you're like, oh my God, he's like Poet Papus and he gets like paid thousands of dollars to go to readings, and oh my God, he gets to write all the time and people ask him shit. It's amazing. I got over that. Now I'm all like, whatever, Billy Collins, you're a sellout. You're making people laugh and getting things, people asking questions. Shut up. So, wrote a poem, it's kind of silly. When Billy Collins falls for me, he's had one too many cups of coffee, black, and reads my poem with a vibration in his hand. He wants more. To know how a woman can conceive of her chest as an air-filled cavity, her breasts balloons that will carry her to printed pages, her words to the mouths of professors, elucidating her metaphors. He searches his books, papers, telephones on the landline to an editor he knew in the Midwest in the 70s. Where else would women have toes that point skyward painted in glitter? He finds my address, an old one, sends letters of verbs and parakeets. The man who receives them wonders who the sender is, obsessed with the smell of poltergeists, who omits his return address. Thank you very much.